Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Diskogs Presents. Um, a little bit different today. We're filming at night. We were busy during the day, so here we are at night. Unfortunately, Christian forgot to pay the power bill, so we have no lights. But luckily, I keep a survival kit, so I have plenty of candles. And I already charged the camera batteries, so we're good on that. It is very cold, but you know, I got jackets too. No big deal. Anyway, it's a very exciting episode today. I am bringing to the table Nia Archives. I'll hold it up right now. And Christian is bringing to the table.
I'm going to talk about I'm I'm sorry. I just kind of threw off my energy when you bringing up the power bill thing. I'm talking about the soundtrack to the video game Katamari Damacy.
We'll start with me. Nia Archives. Nia Archives is a British musician. She released this album about 10 months ago, and it's called Silence is Loud. All of the songs are very jungly, have really cool drums and bass. I haven't heard anything like this before since the 90s. Millennial viewers may be familiar with Goldie, the infamous jungle musician with gold teeth. He features on this album, so you know it's legit. I don't personally like that much contemporary pop music, but when you find something that really connects with you, it's just a thrill. These are very poppy songs, but the drums are crazy, and it's amazing. I love it. I love it so much. It's such a great album, and I have it on vinyl.
I hadn't heard about this until Jerry showed it to me, and I got to say it's one of the best things you've shown me in a long time. If I've been in a funk lately, this album is a real sunny piece of work, and it's gone a long way to improving my mood. The drums are a notable aspect, very energetic, kind of the whole way through, but it's really the vocal melodies and vocal rhythms over the drums that really make it sing for me. The drums are like a real constant, firing all the time. There's never really any space. By contrast, the vocals are always sort of like floating up above. You would describe the melodies as bouncy. I'm thinking particularly about the, I think it was also a single, the song Cards on the Table. If it's not a single, it has single energy times 5,000.
Yeah, I first heard Unfinished Business, and I was like, oh my god, this is really exciting. And then I heard Cards on the Table, and I could not stop listening to it. It's got like guitar on it, like acoustic guitar or something, and just the melody is so great. And yeah, great simple lyrics about having your cards on the table. I really vibe with it.
Yeah, I was thinking about how the lyrics are very simple. One of the lines in the chorus is like, when I'm with you, it's always fun. You make me feel so young. That's such a simple lyric, you would almost say it's brain dead. But in the context of the song, it doesn't feel like dumbed down pop music. It actually just feels like a kind of open-hearted and earnest thing to say to somebody in a way that's moving. This song is a heartfelt message to someone who makes you feel good. I really think it's owing to just how incredibly strong the melody is and the effortless, breezy way that she sings it. Because the song, it feels like you're skipping through a meadow. She says the person makes her feel young. The song makes me feel younger when I listen to it. It's like I can't overstate. This is like a great pop song. Holy cow.
This song does make you feel young and makes you want to run through a meadow or even in the streets, and if you live in a city. Back to the lyrics, they are really simple across the whole album, and if there were anything I would complain about, it would probably be the lyrics, because they are a bit boring.
They're simple, but I feel like the syllables are really well considered. I always pick up on the song Unfinished Business when she says, you only kiss me late at night. Somehow that proves my thinking right. That's not a complicated, flowery lyric either, but I don't know. I guess that's what you call good flow.
Yeah, it's like the Beatles, really. They were a powerful syllable band, always had the right number of syllables in all of their amazing early 60s pop songs, and Nia Archives is kind of following that tradition. Can't wait to see what she does next.
Is this her debut?
This is in fact her debut.
It's a great debut.
The last thing I'll say, last week I was talking about the cover of Cameron Winter's debut. Nia Archives similarly has an amazing picture of her face as the cover. She too has found her angle. She's got the amazing grill with the Union Jack on it. Very cool.
The album cover is projecting a persona to some extent. I think a grill often symbolizes toughness and maybe a kind of a flippant attitude. That's demonstrated musically. The jungle beat has kind of a confrontational aspect to it. And of course, Nia Archives is staring down the barrel of the camera in a way that is maybe not confrontational, but it's very direct. But a lot of the lyrical content is like really vulnerable. The song Crowded Rooms is about feeling social anxiety in large spaces and stuff. I think it's a really nice balance between strong confidence merged with being unafraid to show one's soft side, to say some like sweet loving words from time to time.
As for the vinyl itself, I do have one complaint. On the spine, there's no label. So we organized the records alphabetically, so I know to look in, but there is no label on the spine. Quite a disappointment. But maybe also just part of her flippant attitude. I don't know who's to say. I would give this a 9 out of 10.
The number I just thought of was 8.3. Great record.
Now we get into Katamari Damacy official soundtrack.
I think in Japan, the name for this album, it was released as Katamari Fortissimo Damacy, which is a better name, but the version I have just says original video game soundtrack. You may or may not be aware that Katamari Damacy is a video game released for the PlayStation 2, and I didn't look up the year, but it's probably something like 1998. That's my guess.
The PlayStation 2 did not come out till 2001, so that is impossible.
This is unrelated, but did you ever think about how apparently the Legend of Zelda: The Wind Waker came out only 3 years after Majora's Mask, even though they feel like games from completely different eras? Partly that's because we were children at the time and time just took longer. But this time between the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2, this was a time of huge strides of innovation in the video game industry. If anything feels like an explosion of possibilities, this album would be it. This is an album of songs, and if you didn't know it was from a video game, I think you could very easily listen to it just as a regular music album, because the songs are, for the most part, they don't sound like video game music. Some of them are bloopy instrumentals like you might see, but many of the songs are just pop songs with lyrics and pop singers singing along. This album ranges across more styles than we even really have time to talk about. The reason I picked it as an accompaniment to Nia Archives, I noticed a connection between the jungle beat, a really sort of an aggressive electronic presence, mixed with incredibly sweet pop melodies. By contrast to Nia Archives, the sincerity of Katamari Damacy soundtrack is a little bit more up for debate. Partly that's because it's not the work of one single songwriter. It's about creating a world, showing you the atmosphere, a world that is a constant parade. I don't know, I love an album that just feels like it's swinging you from weird scene to weird scene.
I never played this game before, but I think if I did, this music would be very close to my heart. It's got amazing songs. As Christian mentioned, the variety is insane. Dance music, video game, BP music, but then also acoustic instrumented free jazz. But it all sounds like it's meant to be together, which is quite impressive. I did have a PlayStation 2, but I played other games, not this one.
It's true that a lot of these songs are lodged into my head from childhood, but it's not always necessarily in a good way. For instance, there are a couple levels that I had to play over and over and over again trying to get the high score, and that song Cherry Tree Times, the one with the chorus of little children on it, la 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 la, that song accompanies a particularly hard level where you need to, it involves cows, and I played it many, many times, and it drove me nuts. Some of the songs, like the song with the children's chorus, if they appeared in any other context, you probably wouldn't take them seriously. Most people, when given the opportunity, they don't listen to choruses of children singing together. Or like there's another song called Que Sera Sera. It sounds like a Japanese answer to Frank Sinatra, crooning this super corny lounge style. He sounds like Richard Cheese. It's the kind of thing that a lot of people don't want to listen to. But somehow putting these songs that are genres that people tend to stay away from onto a compilation with each other, where it says you're not listening to a lounge singing album anymore, you're just listening to this thing where like anything goes. I feel like it removes stigmas around stigmatized forms of music and makes it just be like, just look at this for what it is. It might be a bunch of little kids singing, but it's just a song with a melody and a vibe. It's beautiful.
I remember one song with a child singing, and I was really impressed with their range. I thought it was really beautiful, and you don't hear that much unless it's like a musical. I don't remember any specific names of any songs. I just remember the variety was great, and I think the second to last song was like another radical shift. It was like an anime opening theme song, kind of. Yeah, super powerful. I don't really like those kind of songs, but hearing it on this, I was just blown away yet again. One thing I don't like about this pressing of this copy is the sleeves the records are in are the same material as the plastic sleeve you put the cover in. They're kind of sticky. They're hard to put back in the case, so I won't dock points because it's a video game soundtrack. It's not really meant to be on vinyl, but the vinyl copy did disappoint in that way.
All I would talk about at this point is just the tracks that I really love. You've got Gin and Tonic and Red Roses. That's the jazz song with the jazzy lady. Ba 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 ya ba. Really sounds like you're in a jazz club. The drum fills are fantastic. All these little touches with the flute. Another one of my favorites is Walking on a Star. This music from the menu select screen. Beautiful, but yet very simple acoustic guitar part with these little sampled vocal parts that go like, blah. Everybody loves Lonely Rolling Star. That's a big fan favorite. What a melody. What a vocal performance. You got the fugue song, this grand classical piece, but it's again played with these synthesized vocals, so it takes something that is compositionally grand and it turns into something that ends up being kind of silly. Constant fusion between the grand and the silly.
The grand and the silly kind of sums up video games in general. This is one of the best video game soundtracks I've ever heard. It's interesting how video game soundtracks went from simple polyphonic sounds to these days when the next Mario game has a full orchestra. It's kept its silliness, but it's gotten just grander and grander and grander as the years go by. I can't wait for the next Mario game. That's going to be awesome. Maybe if they make Katamari Damacy 2, I'll give that a try. I thought this was, I have no complaints about this except for the vinyl itself. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10, perfect score. It was just incredible to listen to. I'll definitely be putting this on the turntable again and again and again.
Until now, I never really thought of this as an album. It's something I listen to all the time. I put it on at work, and I listen to it if I'm ever playing the game. But when I'm thinking about it now, what am I going to rate it? It is a 10 to me, because it's totally unique. I love this album.
That's a 10 from both of us, so definitely check Katamari Damacy official video game soundtrack out. Definitely check Nia Archives out as well, despite not receiving 10s out of 10s from us. Her album is a must listen as well. That's all for this week. I hope you enjoyed. Please do come back next time. Good night.